What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot to talk about here today, multiple different things, including new checks going out here to some people that we'll go over here in this video, including up to $1,000 for, we'll go over a couple different checks here in this video. And we're going to start with this story here. Gas prices for the first time, for the first day, have not gone down for the US national average price. You can see here on the average, this is the national average gas price, 384, 384. So this is the first time that we haven't seen regular gas go down. So it has slowed to not lowering. Also, the price of diesel has been going up here. You can see here it's gone up 1 cent over the last day. And a week ago, it was, what is that? That's 11 cents. So diesel has gone up 11 cents in the last week. Yikes. So we're starting to see potentially a bottom here in gas prices. This comes as gas was down, I think, for 74 days in a row, as you can see from this headline. It may have hit 75 days in a row, and that was about where it stopped. So we fell 74, maybe 75 days in a row, and then stopped. This headline is from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, I believe. I have seen several people comment in the comment section, mostly southeastern states like Florida, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, states like that that have said their gas prices have hit in the twos. I've seen like 295, 299, places like that. Not necessarily every city, but let me know how much gas is where you are right now. Is your gas in the twos? Is it in the threes? Is it in the fours? If you're in California, my condolences because, well, you can see here the average price in California at 526. But you can still see here in diesel at 633. So yikes. Still, a month ago it was 561. So still like 40 cents lower than what we were a month ago. So still significantly lower. But have we seen a bottom? Have we seen a bottom? And, we have seen oil fluctuate. Oil was up over $100 a barrel. Now it's back down. Now it's back down. So not that bad there. However, natural gas recently hit a 14-year high and is still kind of stabilized at that. Again, it fluctuates a little bit here. But a lot of people use natural gas to heat their houses in the wintertime, which is not that far away. And a lot of this is because Russia has, I know people hate to hear about Russia, and a lot of people don't even believe that Russia has anything to do with it. But the reason for this is Russia has stopped their flow of natural gas to a lot of Europe, and this has sent the prices spiking around the world. Even though we don't get a drop of natural gas from Russia, it sent the prices spiking all around the globe. And countries in Europe are scrambling to get their supplies ready for winter for natural gas. And this has sent the market scrambling and sent natural gas prices spiking almost immediately. And most of Europe has said we want to wean off Russian gas and natural gas and oil. The problem is that Russia is the world's second largest or third largest, with Saudi Arabia. They kind of go back and forth between who's number two and who's number three. But when you take them out of the equation, Russia, they're a huge producer of oil and natural gas, and the world only has so much oil and so much natural gas. So this is a huge problem going forward forever, as long as we need oil, natural gas, and any type of oil or anything like that. So this is why the world is trying to move forward on other types of energy for at least government production when it comes to like solar, wind power, and nuclear power, at least on a government power grid level. You know, we're still going to need gas for cars because there's millions and millions and millions of cars that can't use this. And we're going to need natural gas for homes because people can't all switch over to solar like instantly or anything like that. And it's very expensive, right? But we are starting to see a lot of some people switching over to like plug-in cars, electric cars. Also, I want to, I got a lot of questions here. We covered this in a previous video. There are actually, you know, California passed this law that by 2035, they're not going to sell any gasoline cars at all, which is kind of crazy to even think that in 13 years, that's going to happen, which is, it's kind of mind blowing. But there are actually some really cheap electric cars. I know cheap is kind of a weird word there, but by comparison of new car standards. And I think that as we go forward here, car makers like Chevy, Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, they're all going to start making cheaper and cheaper new cars that are electric. And I'll show you how much it costs to fill up your electric car versus a gas car. Check this out. So as you can see here, Chevy already makes a small slash mid-size SUV called the Chevy Bolt EV electric vehicle. It's completely electric, and it gets about 250 miles on a electric charge. You can see the picture of it here. And it costs about $26,000. And apparently you can lease one for around from $219 per month, which for a new car is pretty good. It also receives a $5,500 price cut to better align MSRPs. And in California, it qualifies for a $2,000 vehicle rebate and $750 clean fuel reward. Again, for new cars, that's really cheap. Also, there's the Nissan Leaf. 2022 Nissan Leaf starts at $28,800, gets about 212 miles per charge. It's also eligible for the federal plug-in tax credits. I think that's like $7,000 or something like that. The Mini Cooper SE hardtop, $30,000. The Mazda MX-30, $34,000. The Hyundai Kona, which is $35,000. And again, as we go forward, they're going to be making more and more cheaper and cheaper vehicles as technology comes and as more and more vehicles come on the market. Also, they have the Ford F-150 Lightning. Now, these are really hard to get right now because they just came out and demand for these is impossible. These start at $41,000. They have up to 320 miles per charge. And what's really cool about them is they have an entire trunk in the front because there's no engine there. And of course, they have the whole truck bed in the back. So you have a trunk in the front and a trunk in the back because there's no engine. There's batteries stored somewhere, I don't know, in here or underneath somewhere. But so you have double the trunk space, which is pretty cool. But from what I understand, they're basically sold out right now because of high demand. People want them like hotcakes. But from Kelly Blue Book here, I had a lot of people asking, how much does it cost to charge an electric car? Apples to apples, like filling up your gas tank. How much, basically going the same amount of miles. And Kelly Blue Book did the math here. And they basically said, you need to do some math. So here's the quick rundown. They said the average person drives 1,183 miles per month, so almost 1,200 miles per month for the average person. It would cost about $59 a month to charge your electric car to go that far. So if you drive about just under 1,200 miles a month, it would cost about $59 a month to charge your electric car. With gas at $3.88 per gallon as of that writing, it would cost about $182 to go that exact same amount of miles with gas. And again, gas fluctuates. So does electric a little bit too. So to go the same amount of miles, it was cost $182 to go the same amount of miles as it would cost $59 to go the same amount of miles to charge your electric car. And remember, I don't have an electric car, but from what I understand, I do have a buddy that has it. 99% of the time, you're charging your electric car at home. They actually have two plug-in outlets. They have a regular plug-in wall outlet, so you can plug it just like with a regular wall outlet, but that takes a long time. It takes like 12 to 24 hours to do that. But you can just plug it in with a regular outlet and charge it overnight, or you can get a higher, faster, like a 220 outlet in there as well, where it can charge in, I don't know, like an hour, two or three, or something like that. But again, most people, they come home and they charge it overnight. So very rarely are you actually charging at a charging station. Like if you're just going to work and coming back on a daily basis, you're just charging at home. You're not even like going to a gas station or a charging station, from what I understand. Very rarely would you be doing that unless you're going on like a long trip. But let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I think that one thing the government needs to do is continue to make more solar, wind power, and nuclear power. Wind power, actually, back in March, was the second power source, the second largest power source for our country. Um, Again, it fluctuates by the day. And solar power continues to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So that's one thing the government and governments all around the world are doing, which is helping to bring the cost of gas down as well. And the cool thing about it is when if you build a nuclear power plant in Georgia or New York or California or something, and when you build solar fields and when you build wind power, once you put them up, they're there, and you don't have to continually dig gas out of the ground. And gas, I just feel like the price of gas is going up, up, up over the course of years. Once you build a wind farm or a solar farm, it's basically set it and forget it. I mean, you maybe have a little bit of maintenance or something like that, but for the most part, it's there and it's powering your grid. It's adding power. So check this out here. In a USA first, California will pilot solar panels over canopies over canals. So this is the interesting type of stuff here that the USA is doing here. And this is actually going to reduce water evaporation. Billions and billions of water is going to be reduced here because this is going to prevent water from evaporating here, because it's going to help keep the water in these canals and prevent drought in California, because we're seeing drought in countries and parts of the United States all around here. And it's going to produce solar power. And guess how many homes this is going to help produce power for? And I'll show you here in a second. And this is going to help reduce the amount of gas and natural gas that we're going to need on a government level for our power grid. And this will help bring down the price of gas and natural gas here that you'll need, like to power your home for home heating, and the price of gas for your car. So this is going to be very, very good. This is the type of stuff that the government can do on a government level. So in California, if this is something that works on these first 2 miles, that Project Nexus that they're doing, there's the potential that this could scale to multiple locations. If all 4,000 miles of California canals were covered with solar panels, this could produce 13 gigawatts of renewable power. A gigawatt is enough to power 750,000 homes. So if they did this on all of the canals in California alone, that would be enough to power 9.7 million households. For perspective, in as of July in 2021, there were 13.1 million households in California. So this alone could power like 3/4 of all the households in California. Just this alone. That's how much power this could produce. Just this alone, guys. Tell me this isn't amazing. Also, that this could reduce drought. This will provide the opportunity to see whether the solar panels reduce water evaporation as the result of midday shade and wind mitigation, create the improvements to water quality through reduced vegetation growth, reduced canal maintenance, and as a result of reduced vegetation growth, and of course, generate renewable electricity. So we talk about needing more power when we think about, how much power problems Texas has. Imagine if something like that could create enough power for 3/4 of all of California's power. 10 million people. It's amazing. And again, that's just one source of power, solar. And again, it's not even an unsightly thing because it's going to go over canals which are already there. And it provides shade and it's going to help with drought. We're seeing drought conditions right now where in places in California, they're being told to conserve water. They're millions of people right now are actually under water conditions where they're being told to only use a certain amount of water. Yeah, let me know your thoughts here. New $1,000 stimulus checks are on the way to some people in New Jersey. Yeah, that's right. Here's the details on this. New $1,000 stimulus checks for some people in New Jersey for caregivers in Camden County, New Jersey should expect stimulus checks worth up to $1,000, courtesy of a program designed to help people who experience wage disruptions as a result of the pandemic. Recipients must apply for this stimulus, and if successful, will receive the payments to assist with the rising costs of food, gas, and consumer goods. Commissioner Deputy Ed McDonald recognized the severe impact of the pandemic had the lives of New Jersey residents, but added that caregivers were among the worst affected, saying the pandemic had a severe impact on all of our lives, but most industries throughout the nation. One of the hardest hit fields was caregiver staff on the front lines and loved ones 7 days a week. The funds come from over $60 million provided to counties in federal funds. Last year, New Jersey residents were eligible for a $500 stimulus check, and you can get this on the Camden County Care Grant website. It's available to all those who are employed to direct personnel care of the elderly, children, and adults with intellectual, physical, and developmental disabilities and brain injuries. Also, in Florida, I've been getting a lot of people asking about Florida. Well, here's what we've got now, or at least something. Here's what Governor Ron DeSantis just promised. By far the biggest tax cuts in the history of the state of Florida, right before the election. Here's the details. Governor Ron DeSantis vowed Tuesday here that the state of Florida is about to see the biggest tax cuts in the history of the state. Quote, we are going to roll out our tax package for next year, probably in the next couple of weeks. And that is going to be by far the biggest tax cuts in the history of the state of Florida. So stay tuned for that, he said at a press conference. He didn't yet provide details on which tax cuts were ahead. Florida is one of 9 states that doesn't have a state income tax. It does have a 6% sales tax, with some exceptions. Governors typically roll out tax and spending plans just before the legislative session, which starts in Tallahassee in March of 2023. But DeSantis' remarks indicated his proposal would come far sooner. He's up for re-election in November 8th, where he will face off against Democratic candidate Charlie Crist, a congressman from St. Petersburg who was previously a Republican governor of Florida. Ooh, that's interesting. DeSantis is expected to easily win re-election because registered Republicans in the state outnumber Democrats. That's interesting as well. The governor is also considered to be a top contender for the White House in 2024, particularly if President Donald Trump doesn't run. Tax cuts tend to feature heavily in Republican agendas, and DeSantis has previously said he hoped November's election would hand him a Republican supermajority in the Florida legislature. In May, DeSantis signed a tax holiday bill into law that included $1.2 billion in tax breaks on a slew of items from diapers to mobile homes. The governor also unveiled a commuter discount last week for drivers who regularly use tolls. In June, they announced that they had a $22 billion surplus. So let me know your thoughts on this. I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis with all the states that are announcing stimulus checks, stimulus relief, and money to their residents, as well as on the federal level. I'll keep you up to date here. So make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon that appears after you click subscribe. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you won't miss out on new videos. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can click this video up here to watch my newest video next. And here's another video that includes up to $1,000 stimulus checks going off for tens of millions of Americans. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.